Hey there, YouTube. Oh gosh, so let's see. Today. Today, I'm pretty sure, is the first Monday of the year. First Monday of 2026. I just got to work. I'm here at the club, about to sign in pretty soon. Today is also the 15-year day of the 15-year mark of my 15 years of recovery, being recovered from something I used to struggle with pretty bad. I'm not too sure how to feel about that. I was hoping I would feel more accomplished with that, like more proud of myself, maybe a little bit better than I do. If I'm being totally honest, or if I'm just trying to be honest, I don't know about totally honest, but totally honest is a dangerous thing, it seems. But if I'm trying to be honest about it, I really just feel sad and still very disappointed in myself, still a lot of regrets. I've been recovered for 15 years, pretty much, for the most part. At least as far as not engaging in the main behavior that was really the issue for me, that I was mainly trying to recover from. Other things that I've still been struggling with are more like kind of a gray area, I guess you could say. But the main issue that I was like really trying to not continue to engage in or continue to do, I've been completely free of that for a solid 15 years, like no slip-ups, no relapses with that. So again, there's still some gray area with other stuff that might, depending on how you look at it, tie into that same issue that behavior was stemming from. But the real big issue that I had, the main behavior itself, that I have not relapsed with, that I have not engaged in. And that was really the main thing for me, and that is the main thing for me. So I'm happy with that, for the most part. But it's weird because, yeah, it's been 15 years since I've, done that, engaged in that behavior. But it was only 5 years that I was like really, really, really unable to stop doing that. And like really, I did it technically longer, for 5 years, back in my late teens, early 20s, mostly. So technically I did it more than 5 years total, but it was like a solid 5 years that I was really, really like struggling the most with it and like really, really bad with it. So it's just kind of weird now if I compare the 5 years that I was really, really struggling the most with it compared to the 15 years that I haven't been doing that. I just feel like those 5 years kind of trumps the 15, to where it was so bad during those 5 years that I still haven't recovered really from the consequences of that stuff and that time. Like, I'm in recovery, I guess. I haven't, relapsed back into that behavior, but I still don't feel that I've recovered from what that behavior caused, the issues that it caused, and the consequences. And just, I feel like those 5 years pretty much just set me up for an entire lifetime. Like, the rest of my entire existence is just gonna suffer so much from that. I still have health issues. I still have mental, emotional, financial issues. I still haven't gone to therapy. I still haven't really gotten help for it. My family doesn't ask about it. They're not really in the picture very much. I don't think they really care. So, this recovery process for me, the entire 15 years of it, I've been doing it by myself, really no help with it. And not only that, but I've also been on my own, like with everything else too. Like, just the rest of my life has been by myself, like working and paying bills and just everything that I've had to deal with on top of that and mixed into that, recovery process as well. So it's just, life is hard enough to do by yourself, or just regardless, even if you're not on your own, but especially if you are, and then especially if you are trying to recover from something that you're not really getting help with, or that you never have really gotten help for. That was such a serious issue, and it still is it's still something, even though it's still something that I really struggle with, and I really crave that behavior every day, pretty much, to varying degrees, but I always crave to go back to that still. Every day I just feel like I'm living a lie, just like trying to deny to myself who and how I really am. And I guess one of the main reasons I don't allow myself to relapse with it is just that I know my body couldn't handle it at this point, now that I'm so much older, and I just know I physically couldn't handle it. I would, it would be really bad. So even though I haven't gotten therapy or gotten help, I would say one of the biggest things that's helped me to stick with the recovery process and not relapse has been other people sharing their stories and their struggles. Like in documentaries that I've seen online, just basically online on the internet. I've never actually talked to somebody in person that has, talked about struggling with the same thing. And I'm so amazed, and I'm amazed that there are actually people out there that have been able to talk about this issue that I struggled with, because I'm still not able to. Part of why I don't feel able to get specific with it is because YouTube seems to have a thing about, I don't know if censorship is the word, or like for the kids, or just like a lot of stuff that's not supposed to be talked about, or I'm really not too sure. It just seems like a lot of sensitive topics, sensitive subjects that aren't really, I don't know. I don't want to take too many risks with my channel, which really sucks, because otherwise I think I might feel able to. Like, in a lot of ways, I really want to get very graphic and very specific and very... If I felt like, it would be okay to do on here, on this website and on my channel, without putting my channel at risk as much, I could just go on and on and on and never shut up about it. And I feel like that would actually help me if I could talk about it more openly and more, specifically and honestly. But it's just the kind of thing, it's not like drugs or alcohol, where even that's like touchy subject, but I feel like that kind of issue, or those kind of issues, are more commonly talked about, whereas my issue wasn't drugs or alcohol. So again, I can't recall anybody, like a real person in my actual real life, like in person, talking about them also struggling with this kind of thing. The only time that I've heard anybody else admit to this issue or talk about it has been on the internet. So, and obviously with the internet, you don't really know what's real and what's not. Like maybe it's just scripted, or it's AI, or it's just actors, or like there's so many ifs and ors when it comes to that kind of stuff, especially online. So, but even if the stuff that I've seen online about it was scripted, or like some of it was movies, it wasn't all documentaries, I think just to have it be talked about at all, regardless, has been very helpful for me, because it's the kind of thing that just really, not in everyday life, but like in real life, like with other people around me when I work and when I'm just out in society, I never hear people talk about this kind of thing ever. Like, I don't think I ever have, really. My family is small. My mother, my grandmother, and my younger brother knows about this issue, like what it specifically is, but they don't really talk about it. We've never really had like an actual discussion about it. So I've never really had a discussion with anybody about it that I can recall. The biggest source of help, the biggest source of inspiration, or just what's helped me the most to not feel so alone and to stick with my recovery as best I can, is just, yeah, what I've seen other people talk about out there, like online or in movies or in documentaries, which is just so incredible and so brave to me, and I'm really thankful for having had access to that. But it's weird to think about, and I actually didn't even really like think about this specific part about this until earlier today when I was thinking about talking about this today. I really hadn't actually fully realized how I've never really talked to a person one-on-one in real life about this specific issue. I've never heard anybody else admit to struggling with this kind of thing in person. Like, it's all been online, what I have seen of that kind of thing. So but I wanted to think, with how much I've put into this and with how hard it's been for me, how hard I've tried to work at this and stick with it, I wanted to think that I would feel better than I do by now. And that's something that I really never hear about, even with, stuff online and like stories about other people that have struggled with things like this and otherwise, like other types of issues. A lot of times when you hear people talk about stuff, it seems like, I don't know, they make recovery sound so much better or like they finally get to a place that feels better, and I really haven't. I feel awful. I feel awful. I still have the guilt for those 5 years and all the time that I was really active in those bad behaviors, and just the guilt for how much it still carries into now, how much I mentally and emotionally and physically still crave the behavior. I wanted to think that I would move on more. I wanted to think that I would do better with it by now. And I still just, again, the main reason I don't go back to it is because I know that I would get so sick. I would probably wind up dead or in the hospital, like my body just couldn't handle it. I know that it couldn't. And I don't know how it did all those years ago, other than the fact that I was so much younger back then. But even back then when I was younger, my body had already been through a lot. I had already been in the hospital 3 times, like near-death experiences. I had almost died 3 times before I was like 18, I think. Yeah. I had almost died 3 times before I turned 18. And then right after I turned 21, this addiction that I had, this behavior, the addiction to this behavior had landed me in jail for a month as well. So, and my life is still pretty messed up from it after all these years. I don't know, maybe eventually someday I will try to go get therapy or talk to somebody about it, but I just don't want to spend the money. So, like, just being honest, I just don't want to spend the money on that. I mean, I can talk about it for free here on YouTube, so I know that's not therapy. It's just me like airing my dirty laundry kind of, but I don't know. It's free. So, sorry, I'm terrible. I don't know. I wish I could sound more inspirational and more like, woo, but I feel like honesty is important, and that's not always the best way to go, obviously. A lot of times it can be, you know, pretty foolish way to go with things and just make things worse, but that's the truth of my experience. And I at least feel better talking about it, even if I'm not talking to like a professional or a therapist about it, or like in group therapy, even just talking about it on here. I still feel better talking about it in some way, shape, or form because it's free this way. So, I don't know. I feel better when I'm honest most of the time. As long as it's not really gonna, you know, get my ass in some serious trouble for, you know what I mean? Like, if I really have to lie to not get in trouble, like I will, like, I'll be honest about that too. But most of the time I do feel better being honest. I just like to be honest. It just feels better to me most of the time, and that's the truth of how I feel about it. This still sucks, and I think it probably always will for me. And I wish I had made more progress, and yeah. If I wasn't so aware of how damaged my body already is from previous behaviors and just stuff that's happened throughout the years, and me being a dancer now and liking to go on the pole and do pole tricks upside down a lot and stuff like that, you know, I still put my body through a lot, and I still expect a lot of it, and I'm all on my own, and I've been single for, you know, over a decade, well over a decade, like almost, actually, you know what? I think I've been single for 14 years. It's funny because I've been recovered for 15 years, I've been single for 14. So I feel like those kind of correlate a bit, like, so yeah, being single all that time, and not having any family in the area or to help me out with anything, it's like I have to really demand and expect a lot from myself. So I can't afford to slip up. I can't afford to mess around. I can't afford to really do anything, fun or not. All I can afford to do is work and pay bills. And that's like the big, like, golden reward, is to be able to pay the bills. Like, work and work and work and work and work. Your reward is you get to pay your bills. That's just the reality of being an adult, I guess, and being a single adult especially, you know. Woohoo. So, yeah. If my body wasn't so compromised, and, you know, if my my life situation and circumstances weren't so dire and demanding, then I probably would just not want to relapse, but I'd probably be more inclined to let myself, because I still crave behavior so bad. That hasn't really gotten better at all. Like and I really want, like, it's so tempting also to just want to go into details, be so graphic and say so many things. But again, like, even though I've had to handle so many things, the internet can't really seem to handle a whole lot these days, or society or whatever. I don't know if it's just YouTube or like the big main, like, really popular websites that are just very censored and very, like, touchy with stuff. I don't know. But yeah, and it's like, all my electronics, all my stuff is very compromised, very iffy. My notes go missing on my phone randomly sometimes. I have to restart my phone. I never know if my YouTube videos are going to post properly anyways. Sometimes there's no audio, sometimes they cut out, sometimes this or that or whatever, it's like every little thing I have to watch and be very, like, careful with and pay attention to, because everything's just constantly ready to mess up, it seems, for me. Like, and with my YouTube, the majority of my videos have been live streams for quite a while now. When I first started my channel, back last August, I had a little bit of storage space left on my phone, so I was doing regular videos for a little while, and then that little bit of storage space I had left at the time didn't last very long. So once I ran out of storage space, and that was a weird thing too, because it would go back and forth and say that I did have more storage and then that I didn't, and it was just my phone messing with me, like being hacked, I think, or something. Like, very confusing the way that was. So then eventually I just said, okay, whatever, and I went to doing live streams, because live streams don't use storage apparently on your phone. They do use data, however. Not that I understand the difference very much with that, but so yeah, I don't want to really take too many risks with my channel here, because most of my videos are very long. I've put a lot of time, and I've sacrificed a lot of time that I don't have time to waste. I don't have time to sacrifice. I constantly have to be doing stuff, like, I was really rushing to try to get over here and do this video now. I was running all around earlier today doing stuff. That's usually the case, I'm usually lucky these days, this time of year, if I can get on and do a video before it gets dark out. A lot of my videos lately, it's gotten dark shortly into them. But yeah, also a lot of my videos, the majority, I guess, at this point, and going forward, are live streams, so they're not saved on my phone. So I don't want to take too many risks with my channel, because, if something were to happen to it, then again, I don't have my videos saved, they're all live streams, so I would just probably lose all that work and all of that time and effort. And that's usually how things go for me with my work, like my writing and my pictures, so many things that I've put so much work into. I'm just so used to that feeling of it all just being gone, you know what I mean? Just losing it, or my laptop, something happens to this device, or this gets hacked into and deleted or compromised. And just nothing's reliable, nothing's secure, nothing's gonna last, apparently. So for me, which really sucks, because I put a lot of work into everything that I do, pretty much. My dancing, my writing, my photography, and my YouTube now. So it would really bum me out if stuff were to happen to my YouTube videos, but unfortunately, it wouldn't surprise me. I've seen some videos on YouTube that are from like 14, 15, 16 years ago. And then for me, I'm just like, every time I do a video and it uploads properly and actually stays on for so far, it's like, I try not to hold my breath. I try not to think about it too much, because yeah, notes go missing on my phone. I've had pictures like be turned upside down, not the regular way, like when you're like just turning your phone in your hands and it's supposed to do that. I mean, like, it was different this time. Like, things, my electronics are messed with. I am messed with. It's very frustrating to try to go into little details here and there in certain videos because it's just exhausting. It's just like, it doesn't help things, that's for sure. It definitely, adds to all of these feelings of just hopelessness and frustration and what is the point, because I work so hard, but it's just, a lot of times it just feels like it's just to be messed with and just to, lose it all. I guess, I don't know. Hopefully not all, but I've had a lot of my work, just kind of disappear or get lost. I've been trying to write a book for the past 2 decades, probably at this point. It's like you can't even really get Microsoft Word on laptops like nowadays, it seems, or like for a while. Like that used to be like the simple standard thing to come with most computers and laptops, and then not that long ago it's like, no, you have like these 55 other apps that you're not going to understand or want to bother with, but we don't include that anymore. So the last laptop that I got, I actually had to purchase Microsoft Word separately. I think that was back in like 2016, and that laptop has been, it's old now, and it's been in my apartment without heat this is the 4th year. It's like 50 degrees in my apartment because I can't afford heat, or technically I could, I just don't want to spend the money. I just paid my electric bill. My electric bill was $60 today, and that's with me not putting the heat on. So I literally don't use anything for electric in my apartment other than I turn the stove on a little bit here and there, and I have background music playing, and I charge my laptop. Obviously I put the lights on, but I try not to put the lights on very much. Other than that, I'm really not there that much. I don't really use a lot of electricity. I check on their website though, like when my usage is and how much, and I've had some of the highest usage be from times when I'm actually not there. Like when I'm at work, like my highest usage for that day or night will be when I'm here at the club, and I've had things go missing from my apartment and my car. So the list just goes on and on and on, like, to where it's like, yeah, well, no wonder I'm not feeling very good in my recovery process. Like 99% of this shit just sucks, like completely, like, and there doesn't seem to be much of anything that I can think to do about it, or try to. Most of my existence just feels like torture, pretty much. Physical, mental, emotional torture. Like, I try to enjoy what I can, and I definitely try to have a sense of humor. I laugh about stuff, but a lot of the stuff I laugh about is like a survival reflex, or it's like my brain just trying to help me not just give up and sob constantly, or it's like you can cry or just laugh in the moment, or laugh when you're in public, or laugh when you're on camera. I do cry about stuff a lot of the other times behind the scenes, or I'm just like numb and kind of just like whatever. It really depends. It can go either way. It's like a mixture of both. I don't know. But yeah. Recovery sucks. Oh, and another thing that freaks me out, I watch a lot of survival videos on YouTube, especially lately. Winters here suck. The single digit temperatures. Yeah, I don't have the heat on in my apartment. Yada yada. So what I realized watching some of the survival videos on YouTube, I guess recovery is also a word that they use for when they go to try to find dead bodies in the wilderness. Like, if somebody's stranded out in the wilderness, they'll have search and rescue, So the rescue mission is when they think that somebody's still alive. And I guess when they're presumed to be dead after a certain point, like the circumstances have been too dire, or they've been out in very bad conditions for a certain period of time to where they're presumed, like the chances of them being able to survive are just like pretty much nil. I guess they'll switch it over to rather than being a rescue mission, it's called a recovery mission, to where they're just looking for their dead bodies. So recovery is like the word for when, also it's the word for when people are like dead and people are going out to like recover their dead bodies. So that kind of freaks me out. So now I don't really want to say that word very much anymore, because yeah, it's like anxiety and it's stressing me out. Anyway. At least I was able to get out and do this today. I really didn't want to come out today. I mean, I hardly ever do, but I'm trying to keep forcing myself. Rather than just rot in bed, you know. We haven't had sun for a while. At least it's not, you know, another snowstorm today or right now. It's always on the horizon, though. It's always, you know, coming back around again. But, you know, like, yeah, it's been a few days that we, you know, it's been like, you know, a little while since we've had a lot of snow, which is nice. I guess we're supposed to get more any day now again, of course. But, I mean, yeah, like, I don't want to complain because there's no snow right now. But there's also not been much sun lately. Like, I mean, it's been days, weeks, it feels like. And even when there is sun out, I'm barely able, if I'm even able to get out that day, I'm barely able to see it. Because I'm lucky to be able to get out by like 3, 4 o'clock, and it gets dark at 4 o'clock. So, but I keep trying to tell myself winter is almost over. But then I get like this weird feeling, even when winter is almost over. It's not like I'm excited for spring or for summer, because summer's way too hot. And then the more one round of winter is close to being over, I just feel like that means the next round of winter is just closer to starting again later on. It'll already be another round of winter later this year. Now that it's January, like, okay, like this round of winter's maybe almost over, or it's just getting started, depending on how you look at it. But either way, by the end of this year, it'll be winter again. Way, way before the end of this year. It starts in like, I don't know, sometimes October, November. It's just awful. And like, even when we don't get as much snow, like, we're lucky to not get a horrendous amount of snow constantly, but even when we don't, it's like single digit temperatures. So it's just like, what, why, you know? I don't know. But yeah, I was able to get out today. I got up a little bit earlier today than I have been lately. So, well, the crappy part about that is I got less sleep because I worked till close last night. But the good part is I was able to get out earlier today and run a bunch of errands and do this video. Yay! My shift, I will say also though, another nice thing for recently, my shift at the club last night, I did work until close last night, and it was okay. It was very slow and pretty awful for the most part, but there were parts of it that were okay. I met this really nice guy that was so cute. He was like the Spanish teddy bear. He barely spoke English, but he was so cute and he was so nice, and he kept like apologizing for not speaking English well, but he spoke English much better than I could ever try to speak Spanish. I don't know a lick of Spanish other than hola and gracias. I just kept saying gracias to him because he was like so nice. So, but for a while I took French in high school, so I probably should have taken Spanish since it's more commonly spoken. It's a more popular language, it seems like, around here. But I am stupid, so I took French instead. So, and I was just so tired last night that when he was like talking to me and asking me questions and stuff, I kept, whenever I wanted to say yes, I kept saying oui, like oui. And then I'd be like, oh crap, no, that's French. And it took me a while to remember that yes in Spanish is sí. I mean, that's pretty close though. They sound pretty similar. So, and he seemed to know what I meant because I was like nodding my head to try to help out with that. But he was so cute. And he was so nice. A lot of times in that kind of like stuff, like when there's like a language barrier, I'll kind of just go along with it as best I can if they seem interested in me, you know. But with him, I actually think I kind of really liked him. Like he seemed really sweet. And his like face and his aura and his personality, like he just seemed like a genuinely like good, like nice person. You know, which you don't get that all the time from guys here. It does happen, but you know, you definitely get types that are not like that too, and like, you know, very different types of vibes a lot of times too. So, but he seemed so sweet, and he seemed like he was really into me. And I kind of, if there was less of a language barrier especially, I would have really been like, oh okay, like maybe like, you know. But even with the language barrier, I don't know, he was just so cute and so sweet. And like, oh, he's like a teddy bear. And at one point, he's so cute. He was at stage like tipping, and he asked me if I was gonna go on again. He had seen me up there a couple times, and he asked me if I was gonna go back on. And I was like, yeah, but then the DJ wasn't putting me back on because they'll do that sometimes. So I was getting kind of, you know, upset and frustrated, but then I thought, and I was like, okay, there's 2 other stages. So I went over to the smaller stage and I like asked him to go over there with me, and he did. So he was like the only guy sitting at the main stage where the DJ wasn't putting me up anymore. So he was the only guy there for a little bit at that time anyways. And then I got him to come over to the other like smaller stage off to the side with me. So he was over there with me for a little while, and he was just being so sweet and like tipping me. And at one point I leaned forward to kind of like show him a little more, like, you know, lower my bottom garment down just a bit to like give him more of a view. And he fell over in his chair. He like fell onto the floor at one point. He was like, he just like fell on the floor, and I don't think he got hurt or anything, thank gosh. Like I was like, oh gosh, like are you okay? And like, but he just seemed like very, I don't know if he was just really drunk. He had 2 drinks that I saw him have. I'm sure he had more throughout the night, but the times that I was hanging out with him, he had like 2 drinks that he was barely even like drinking, it seemed like. He left shortly after that, and his drink was still mostly full. It was like he had barely even sipped it looked like. So I don't know, it was kind of weird, but it was really cute and just funny and sweet. So that was a nice part of the night. And another good part about yesterday, my shift last night, well, it had been a while since I'd done a Sunday shift, and I was kind of, I don't know, I was kind of somewhat purposely not doing them because my favorite manager works those shifts and he's going to be leaving soon. So I'm trying to like, you know, get used to not seeing him and not working with him as much, to try to like soften that blow a little bit, you know, for myself as best I can. But then, I don't know, I still like Sunday shifts. We pay to work here at this club, so the fee is less if you get here open. Like Sunday is pretty much the only time that I could come in at the time that I like to come in these days without having to pay a fee, because we open later on Sunday. So if I get here at a time in the afternoon on Sunday, the time that I would normally come in, because we already open at that time, that's like the very open of the shift, the very start of the shift, so the fee is waived. Whereas every other day of the week, even Monday, like today, Monday it's a little bit less, but it's still more than Sunday, because Sunday's like nothing. So every other day of the week, the time that I like to come in the afternoon, like the later afternoon, there's a fee to work. So I also like Sundays for that reason, because there's no fee for the time that I come in. Anyways, if you get in any bit later than that, then there is. But yeah, it's, oh, excuse me, an interesting little system they have with that. So yeah, I hadn't worked for a Sunday for a little while, partly because of, you know, what I just mentioned with my favorite manager leaving and wanting to get used to not seeing him as much and stuff. But then also just like with my period and the weather has worked out with whatever way that it has these past couple weeks with Sundays, to where I just haven't really felt able to come in, also for those reasons. But yesterday I did, and worked open till close. And when I first got here at the start of the shift, I climbed the pole here, which is on the main stage, which is 15 feet. And I climbed that with my backpack, which is about 15 pounds. But I also had a liter of water in my backpack as well. So my backpack is already heavy enough, like to where I can barely pick it up without the water. But then when I add a liter of water into my bag, I mean, that's adding 2 pounds basically, because yeah, a liter of water is approximately 2 pounds. So that, you know, makes it even heavier. So it had been, I used to do that pretty often with my favorite manager's shifts. It was like a pretty regular way for me to start my shift off, would be to climb the pole with my backpack like that. And not only that, I also climb it with a damp paper towel in my hand, with a paper towel that's like damp with rubbing alcohol, to try to clean the pole. So I have this like 15-pound backpack, 15-foot pole, and a wet paper towel in my hand, climbing the pole like that. It's no good. It's no fun. It sucks. I used to do that pretty regularly to start my shifts off. Up until yesterday, I hadn't done that in possibly months. I mean, it had been a while, just because it does suck so much, and that pole is so slippery. And I'm gonna be honest, I think that, well, I know that a big part of why I did that yesterday is because my favorite manager was here, and there's just something about him that just like kind of like spurs me to like try harder and like do more, and like just, I used to work a lot of shifts with him, not so much recently, and not as much for a while now, but like, I don't know, a year or two ago, for a little while there, I was doing a lot of his shifts, and it was like a sports kind of thing. Like I felt like I was like in a sports training. Like I still try to treat dancing like my sport, and try to approach it from like an athletic kind of, in an athletic kind of way, kind of like, you know, try to treat myself like I'm an athlete and treat this like this is my sport, which is difficult though. You know, like it was a lot easier and more fun for me to do that when I was doing more of his shifts, you know, a while back. It was a whole thing, you know, it was like really, really amazing there for a while. And I was coming in specifically to do day shifts with him because his shifts were just so great and so much fun, and like, you know, just the music and the lights, and there was just some kind of magic thing about those shifts for a while like that. Whereas now it's just different. The schedule's different, you know. I really miss that. So I don't really get to work with him as much. And even when I do, it's just different, you know. He's actually here right now. Usually he doesn't come in on Mondays until like later in the night, but it looks like he's here for the day shift today. So the schedule is very confusing here. Like, as dancers, we make our own hours, so that's confusing enough. Like, you never really know like what other dancers are going to be here, how many other dancers are going to be here, how long they're going to be here. You never really know like how many customers are going to be here, and the weather and this and that. But then even with the employees, even though the employees are on a schedule, the schedule's like constantly changing for them too, and just very, very inconsistent and strange, it seems like. to where like don't even try to keep up with it, just like go with the flow as best you can, basically. But so yeah, I don't know, when he's here or when I see him, I just have more of like this inclination to try to like, yeah, work harder, do more, like climb the pole with my backpack, do more on the pole, just be on stage more, just that kind of thing, I guess, you know. It had been a while since I climbed the pole with my backpack. I really should try to keep more of an actual, like, really keep track of this. I'm really bad at keeping track of stuff. Like, it stresses me out and I just suck at it. I'm very ADHD. I take a lot of notes, but I lose them too. And then on my phone, I'll try to take notes, but they'll like disappear sometimes. And like all my electronics are like hacked and like have viruses, or they just are like all compromised and like halfway broken or completely broken, or just can't trust anything like digital or electronic. And then I can't trust myself to like try to take notes like manually, like with pen and paper that way, because I'll just lose them. And I'm just very scatterbrained and messy and like undiagnosed ADHD, I'm pretty sure. So like I really don't bother to try to keep track of stuff anyways, because I just really can't, even if I did try or do try. So I don't really know. I kind of, for some stuff, want to though, because I really have no idea how long it had been since I climbed the pole with my backpack. It could have been a few weeks, it could have been a month, it could have been 2 months. I don't think it was 3 months, but it could have been 1 or 2. But like that's still a big difference, 1 month or 2 months. Because saying it out loud, it doesn't really sound that different, but 2 months is obviously twice the time as 1 month. And if it hadn't been a whole month, then I could have said I just did it the other day, which I did yesterday. But before that, I mean, I could have said that, which I couldn't, because before that it had actually been either an entire month or 2, or sorry, this is probably getting confusing. I'm confusing myself again. But regardless, I was excited that I did it yesterday, and I wish I could be better about like trying to do that kind of thing more even when he's not here. I have at least been better about coming into work when he's not here and like kind of, but then it's like, where's the balance of like, you know, still trying to come in when he's not here, but not to where I'm actually like actively trying to avoid him or his shifts so that I don't have to miss him as much when he's not here anymore pretty soon. Like, where is the balance with that? Like, I don't really know how to go about that still. I'm trying though. I don't know. I suck at stuff. Most things I'm pretty bad at. Oh, I have 2 minutes to go sign in for work. I really don't want to. I'm tempted to just go sign in and come back out here, but I'd have to leave the camera rolling. Oh God. I hate this. I hate having to rush all the time. See, I have all these notes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you guys. Fuck, sorry. I guess I have to just sign off. I'm sorry. I hate doing this like so abruptly. I have so much more I want to talk about, and it's so difficult for me to get out and do this kind of thing. Like tomorrow we're supposed to get snow, I'm pretty sure, so I don't know, but it will be Tinker Tuesday. So I'm gonna go sign in real quick, but I'll be back. Oh crap. Sorry. What'd I miss? Did I miss anything good? Did anybody sneak in here and mess with stuff in the entire approximate minute that I was gone? 3:15. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I signed in at 3:59:30. I had 30 seconds left before it before the price went up. Oh. So now my car is off, which means my phone is not charging and the heat is not on, obviously. It's 4 o'clock on the dot now. So I had literally, it was 30 seconds on the dot. I had exactly 30 seconds left. So I'm still not going to stay on very long. I'll probably still sign off in a minute. But I just hate signing off so abruptly like that. Like, I like to have outros. I really like outros. And I say that for music too. Like, it drives me nuts when songs don't have outros, especially really good songs. Like, so many songs with music seem to have intros, like really long, elaborate intros a lot of the time. But it's like, where is the outro? Like, I'm an outro person. I wish more songs had outros. I wish more things had outros. Movies have outros with the credits, but songs, I feel like music rarely has good outros, or like any outro at all. I feel like so many songs, like really, really good songs too, just like cut off. Like, they're so good. It's like the best song ever. And then towards the end, it'll just cut off so abruptly. And then it's just over, and you have to just keep repeating it over and over if you want to keep listening to it. I don't know. I'm weird. Sorry. You aren't going to be able to see that. Where it says 30 seconds. Where does it say 30 seconds? Everything reads backwards on the lives anyways, so I don't know what I'm doing right now, but so yeah, I have a lot of notes pending still. Let's see, ready? 1, 2, 3 front and back for most of these. Oh my gosh. 2, 3. 3. This one's the questions that I have for my mom, actually. She's like, I don't remember anything. Okay. So I'm still on 3 because this one's not for YouTube. But I'm just keeping these in this notes. I'm keeping this in these notes so I hopefully don't lose it. So I'm still on 3. 4. This is 4. 5. Oh my gosh. 6. And 7. I have 7 pieces of paper here of notes. Aww. This one side is actually a note that I got from somebody that sent me flowers, and also a gift card, which thank you again to whoever did that. I still haven't used the gift card because I've been so all over the place like I usually am, but I'm definitely looking forward to using that. I paid my electric bill today, which was more than I thought it was going to be. I mean, that's not surprising, but it still was more than I thought. And because I really don't use, I mean, for it to be that much without even having the heat on is ridiculous. And it was more than it was last month. And last month it was more than it normally is too. So I don't have the time or the energy to literally keep track. Like, I have the kind of lifestyle, like, things are so messed up for me to where I'm literally going to basically have to keep a notebook of every wattage of electricity I use. So like when I'm at my apartment, when I'm not at work, I'm gonna have to try to keep a notebook of every kilowatt, every time I put the stove on, every time I flip on a light switch. What is the exact wattage of electricity this is using? What is the exact amount of time? I'm gonna have to keep track of it that much. I already get text messages like on a weekly basis from my electric company, giving me like an approximation of how much wattage I've used and what the approximate billing cycle, like bill, is going to be for the next time. But the way they do it is as confusing as they could possibly make it, and it does not seem accurate. I don't trust them at all. I don't trust anything, not even myself. But I don't trust myself either, but I at least trust myself more than anything else, or most other things anyways. Definitely more than other people and companies. So I can't go by what they're sending me through the text messages. I know it's not accurate. And I talked to somebody on the phone a couple months ago. My bill was way higher than it was supposed to be, and I had to call somebody and talk to them, and this had never happened before when I tried to talk to them about their messing everything up. But one time, not that long ago, they actually listened to me and like gave me a credit on my account for it. That was one of the times where it was like the usage was way higher, like mostly the times that I was at work. So it's like somebody's literally going into my apartment just to rack up my electricity bill when I'm at work, not making money. Like I'm working my ass off at work, 10-hour shifts or longer, trying to make at least something, which I'm really not. And meanwhile, somebody's breaking into my apartment just to rack up the electricity bill and mess with my stuff. Or that's really what this is. Anyway, yeah, I guess, I mean, I don't have time for that. I don't have energy to literally keep track of every kilowattage of electricity that I use. But apparently I'm gonna have to. It's that bad. This is that freaking ridiculous and pathetic to where I'm actually apparently gonna have to do that because I'm messed with that much. And not only that, I'm gonna have to carry that notebook around with me everywhere I go, because if I don't, it could go missing, mysteriously go missing somehow. You know, if it's not on my person constantly nonstop 24/7, that notebook could be tampered with or stolen or messed with. The notes could be changed. I don't know. I can't trust it unless it's on me at all times. So that's what I'm going to have to be doing from now on. Anyway, sorry, I was supposed to be saying something nice. Yeah, I was going because I got that nice, see, I shouldn't even bother looking at these notes right now because I don't have time to actually get into them. But I was just mentioning, because this one note is a note that I got from somebody that sent me flowers. And okay, so the flowers are still in here. I don't throw flowers away. I don't put flowers in water and like try to like preserve them and make them last, because they're just gonna die anyways, like not that shortly after you get them. It's not like a pet where you really have to try to make it live a little bit longer than a few days. It's not like people and pets are going to die eventually too, but not as quickly as flowers usually. So with flowers, like, I'll be honest, I don't bother to put them in a vase. I don't bother to put them in water. I don't got time for that shit, okay? But I also don't throw them away, because they really don't. Yes, they die, but they don't really do anything after that. So I keep flowers. I still have my flowers right here. They're, oh God, where did the rest of them go? Oh my God. Oh, here they are. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm not gonna really try to show you guys them because it's really sad right now. They still smell good. These ones right here, I don't know what these are, if these still count as flowers. These are like the side, like decorative, like accessory thing they like shove in there. I don't know if this part is actually real flowers too. I think these are flowers. So they came with more though. There were more flowers with this, and this is what I'm talking about. My lifestyle is so scattered and stressful and just like messy. The flowers are back there, I swear. They're still back there. They're just like crushed amidst a bunch of other stuff that I just throw back there because I don't have time for anything. Oh God. What else was I saying? So the flowers came with this nice note that I still have here in my 7 other notes, and I have way more than 7. They're like all over my car as well. with the gift card. I wanted to use the gift card for my electricity bill, but I didn't even have time to do that because I was paying my electricity bill earlier today and I was already rushing to try to like get out. I had to go to the bank. I had to go to a couple of stores. I didn't have to go to a couple of stores, but I wanted to, like, you know, get stuff. So I wrote down the stuff for the gift card like on a piece of paper so I can like maybe, so I was thinking about maybe putting it towards my electricity bill. I just didn't have time to like go get the piece of paper and like type it all out. So whereas my regular debit card is like already saved like on that website, so I just had to click one button for that, and I still had to click a bunch of other buttons too and like sign out and sign in and yada yada, but it was a quicker process than if I had tried to use the gift card. But I was gonna say it was actually really especially nice that I did get that gift card because I really need new shoes for the club. Like I've been going on my last legs, basically pairs of shoes for a while now, which I do technically have a bunch of, but they're all in such bad condition. And there's really only a few out of the bunch of like old crappy shoes that I have left that I can still really kind of wear, or that are actually like realistic for me to wear for my shifts at the club, that actually like go with how I like to dance and like go on the pole. So out of the few little pairs that I have left, I mean, I wish I kind of wanted to like bring them in the car to like show them on camera, but I just don't have the time or the energy to do that. They're so bad though. Just take my word for it for now. Like every single pair. I had 2 other pairs. Well, one of them just broke the other day. And that was one of the ones that I was like, you know, really like using a lot. Like it wasn't in the best condition anyways, but I had really been riding the wheels off of that pair. And then a strap broke on one of those, so I have to have 2 straps on those kind of shoes. So those are not really usable anymore. And then another pair I had yesterday, one of the straps is also coming loose on one of those, which is not good. So those are gonna last me maybe like another shift or 2. And then the other pair that I was wearing last night, my boots, I really want to like maybe take a picture or like just try to show them in some way, because both of the sides are all busted up. Like the seams are open. There's like big gaping holes on both of the sides of the shoes. I don't know how they still zip up. They barely are able to zip, but I have to be really careful. They do technically zip, but I have to be very, very careful zipping them up. And they're just a complete mess. I mean, I'll try to take a picture maybe later if I can remember to. And then, what were the other ones? Oh, and then I had these other ones. Like, I had these other ones in my locker yesterday, or they're still there, I think, but they had been in my car. They're a size too small because I found them like here at the club. I'm pretty sure. They had just been like abandoned somewhere. I wasn't taking them from someone. They just like, somebody just left them and like for free. They didn't want them, I could tell. So they're like a size too small, I'm pretty sure. And because they had been in my car, they're like pretty much frozen. Like I was trying to put them on last night at one point and I couldn't get my feet into them because the plastic is so cold that it's not pliable. And they had also been smushed like under a bunch of stuff. So the plastic is like cold and like smushed down and just like molded down into this like frozen state, like crushed into the sole of the shoe to where I couldn't lift the plastic up to try to get my foot under it. I was trying and it was just like not moving, and they're too small anyway. So I'm like trying to like shove my foot into this like size too small shoe with the plastic all frozen and like crumpled up and like they're in a sorry state. They're pretty sad looking. Like just about everything else around me that I own. I really need to get new shoes, and I'm going to try to do that with that gift card as soon as I can get around to it. I hate ordering stuff online. I get so anxious ordering stuff online because I don't trust anything. And I just think, you know, like I have to like rely, like that means other people are going to be doing stuff. Like they're going to be like the ones to like package the shoes and send them in the mail. And everybody just seems to mess everything up and there's nothing I can do about it. if the mail carrier like delivers it wrong, or like it could go missing, like they could put the wrong shoes in the box, and if they put the wrong shoes in the box, I don't have the time or the energy to call them and send that shit back. Like, I don't have time or energy to do anything. I don't understand how anybody does. Like, yeah, being single for 14 years and in recovery for 15, it's not going well. So I'm not doing well. And I just at least want to be able to be honest about it and talk about this. It sucks so bad, and it's not getting any better. It hasn't gotten any better. It sucks constantly. It's awful. It's not getting better still. I hate this. Maybe someday I'll try to go climb Everest without oxygen. It's been done before. There are actually women that have apparently done that and survived because they're badass like that. So if they can do it, I don't see why I can't. No, I'm just kidding. I definitely could. They bring their backpacks full of like survival gear, and I'd be bringing my backpack full of like survival gear. I would just have so many protein bars, and like, what about water? I guess there's snow for that. They say you're not supposed to like drink cold snow or like melt the snow because it's too cold to drink and like lower your body temperature, but at least snow can be made into liquid if you really get that thirsty. I don't know. Maybe that'll be a goal of mine. That's such a stupid thing to do. No offense to anybody that like wants to climb Everest or like does or did, or, but I don't know. I'm obviously stupid, so I'm sure I could talk myself into doing something stupid like that just to see what happens someday. When I really get too sick of this shit. I know what I want to go try to do. I'll bring my backpack. I already have my backpack ready for it. Oh my god. Yeah. Well, it's just an idea. Maybe. It's just one of those things I think about sometimes, just to like see what I think about it and get a kick out of the way my brain works and the way that other people's brains apparently either work or don't. I'm not too sure how to oh, this world is a crazy place, and I am a direct result of that. I'm pretty sure. Oh my god, I'm so tired. Well, it's getting dark out, so I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm glad my phone is still here. I was really anxious that my phone maybe wouldn't be here in my car after the entire minute that I was gone in the club a moment ago. Like, I hope my phone is still there, because God knows I can't turn my back on anything for a split second without something happening pretty much all the time. So yeah, it's gonna be real fun when I get back to my apartment later. As soon as I flip that light switch on, okay, I put the light on at this exact time, and what is the exact kilowattage of this light bulb gonna be on for this exact number of minutes? Okay, and then I'm gonna microwave something, and I need to know the exact wattage this microwave is using for this exact amount of time, and I'm gonna write this all down, you know, so that I can call the electric company next month and really have a long discussion with them about this. The longer the better, because, you know, I really want to try to allocate some time in my day to have a conversation like that, where I can reference my notebook full of an entire page and more longer of all these notes for the exact kilowattage of every single light bulb every light switch that I flip on, and every time I microwave something there. Oh, but being a stripper is so luxurious. It's such a glamorous lifestyle. Look at me having to keep track of every second I flip on a light bulb because people mess with me that much. And the lady on the phone a couple months ago, she literally said, she's like, you know, a lot of times when we do the bill, it's just an approximation. I was like, really? Well, how does that work exactly, and why? Every now and then, every couple of months, we send somebody over to the unit to do a meter read, a precise meter read, to get the actual exact meter read. But every other time, it's just an approximation. Well, their approximations are not very good. They're not very approximate or accurate. They're not, I can't believe this crap. I regret everything. But I don't blame my parents for any of this because I know they're wonderful people and that they care and try so hard. You know, my mom actually has an insurance policy to get money when I die. I've mentioned that before in a video. I thought that was just adorable. That is just precious. When I die, she gets money. When she dies, I get nothing. Except I probably inherit her debt. I'm guessing is how that's gonna go. I don't know. I'm just guessing right now because we never talk about anything like that actually matters, or we never discuss anything. I found out, she didn't even tell me that. The only reason I know that she has a policy for me to die and her to get money is because the company that has that policy sent me something in the mail for one of her unpaid bills. I'm pretty sure it was. And I was like, what is this? And why am I getting this? What does this mean? So then eventually I asked her about it. She was like, oh, you know what she actually said? She used these exact words. She goes, that's my investment. That's your investment. Not for me to live and have a nice, long, happy life and take care of you when you're older that way. Your investment is for me to die so you can get this crappy little, like, it's not even for a lot of money anyway. You can get this paltry little, like, pocket change amount to spend on what? Another Peloton bike? Pizza? Dish soap? What do people spend their money on these days? I remember years ago, there were these DJs that used to work here. And they were real a-holes, to put it mildly. And I was tipping them so much money for a while. And for me, it was like everything that I was making here. So I was getting nothing, pretty much. It was all going to them. So that was like everything for me. And they actually had the audacity to turn their nose up at what I was giving them. And they were like, I spend this much on my dog's food. They were like, I buy dog food for my dog that's $100. I was tipping them more than that sometimes, by the way. A lot of times. But they were like, I spend this on my dog's food, biatch. This ain't nothing to me. Like, my dog's food is more expensive than this. Well, excuse me, Your Highness. I can't afford to have a pet. I'm the animal in my household that needs to be fed and taken care of by myself. So it's like, what? People are weird. I can't believe the stuff that people spend money on. Like, people here at the club, they'll buy like these like $8, $10, $15 drinks, take 2 sips and leave the rest. Anything that I spend even a single dollar on, it's like down to the last crumb I have to allocate for this exact specific time and location and document, like not a drop can go to waste ever, to the point where I'm gonna have to keep track of every kilowattage of electricity I use at my apartment, like down to the last letter. Like, are you kidding me? Am I kidding myself? I wish I was. Apparently, I don't even know. What? I could just go on and on. But I don't know any of what I'm talking about or trying to talk about anyways. So I'll just stop this for now because I'm done right now. I don't want to say anymore. I'm tired. I'm always tired, constantly exhausted. This is all very frustrating and confusing. I hope my favorite manager is staying tonight. They worked till close last night, and now they're already here this early for a day shift, apparently. Usually they would be doing a night shift tonight. See, I don't know, like, what's ever going on. It's all very confusing. I'm so tired right now. I think I just want to go in there and sit on my ass if I can find a warm enough spot to do so. Good luck with that. I wish myself well with that, because sometimes you can, a lot of times you can't. A lot of times I can't find a single warm area other than the stage area, which is already too hot when I go on the pole. And my body is used to being in 50-degree temperatures usually, so yeah. Confusing for my body too. Confusing for my brain and my body. Definitely my soul the most. I don't know if I'm going to hell, if I'm already in it, or maybe both. This is just one version of it. I'm sure there's like another layer, another level that I'll get to experience later on at some point, maybe. I don't know. Apparently, who knows? Not me. I can only guess. Anyway, I hope you guys are well. I hope my video yesterday went okay. The entire 14 minutes of that. I still haven't watched that back. Maybe I'll try to do that later tonight at some point. If I can find a warm enough spot to pause for a moment and collect myself, or try to charge my phone, which my phone does need to be charged as usual. There's never a time that it doesn't need to be charged, ever. Okay, well, I'm gonna wrap this up. And hopefully I'll be able to come back on soon with lots more fun stuff to talk about. Tomorrow's Tinka Tuesday, but we are supposed to get snow tomorrow, apparently. I'm not too sure because the weather reports around here aren't worth paying attention to. Just look out the window and do your best from there, because nothing and nobody can be trusted ever. So the rest of it is just to mess with you. Good luck trusting the window. Good luck trusting. Is that a real window? What am I seeing? Is this an illusion projected by something else out there? Or you just don't know. Just don't know anymore. Just don't know a damn thing. As if I ever did, though. Can't even get a damn weather report around here. Not any, that's not a complete lie anyways. Okay. All right. It's dark out. I'm going to wrap this up. Hope you guys are well, and congratulations to me for being recovered for 15 years. This is fucking bullshit, but yeah, okay. Whatever. I can't relapse because I would die, and I don't want to die just yet. Because then whatever money I have left over would go to my anonymous mystery enemies. I don't know who they are or who they might be, but there's definitely people out there that don't like me very much. Apparently. I don't have enemies. I don't hate anybody. I don't have ill feelings towards really anyone specific that I can think of, really. I mean, I don't want to. I'm not that kind of person. I try to be happy and, you know what I mean? Like, spread the love and the peace and the happiness. But again, apparently, it definitely seems like there are people out there that do not like me. So whoever they are, I wouldn't want to die because I wouldn't want them to get whatever money I have left over. I don't know how it's going to work out. I can't die until I spent my last cent, and then I just have to magically like evaporate into thin air after that point or something. I'm not too sure how that's supposed to go or how to work that out, how to try to work that out as best I can. So yeah. Because then what would they spend it on? Expensive fancy dog food for their fancy pet dogs, or pizza and dish soap? What else? Okay. All right. I'm signing off for now, and hopefully, I don't know if I'm going to be able to come back on tomorrow, but I'll probably try to if I can. I don't know. Who knows? All right. Peace out for now, guys.